name's Anthony Rees. I'm the regional manager for Cyfle Building Skills. Cyfle means opportunities. I was first made aware of the Queen's Award in 2014. I was in an office in Swansea, saw this big poster and big certificate. I thought, well, what's that then? And we'd won some national awards and regional awards, but I started looking into it and I thought, God, it'd be nice to have that kind of recognition, because when I looked into it, I could see the prestige there and the pride that this organisation had in that with the award. So 2014, I first came across it. I realised then there was 4 categories, as Chloe said: international trade, innovation, sustainable development, and promoting opportunity. Obviously, we're a Welsh organisation with apprenticeship programme, so overseas was not what we were looking at. So we looked at the innovation category first. So when I brought it back, I got a small team involved. It was too much for me just to look at. Small company, didn't have time really, but it was. I wanted to put a bit of time into it, so I got a few key people in, well, a couple of good writers, and people to understand what we were doing really. And as Chloe said earlier, we didn't do it in one hit. We did it bite-sized. So I think I saw one of the chats earlier. It took us longer than 20 hours. It was because we were smaller. I said we did it and we put it down. We came back, and it took us about 5 months really to start it and complete it. So I would say my advice is, if you're going to do it, give yourself a bit of time. Yeah, especially if you're a smaller business, you've got this. You've got your day job to do. So it's and sometimes it's not a priority. But we decided when we did it, we took it seriously, and we wanted to do something and to write something. So it was a really good process to go through. I felt it was a great initial assessment for the business, because when you're busy, you don't understand what you've achieved sometimes in the past. It really gives time and a few of the team members and a really good initial assessment into the business, what we've done in the past, what we're doing now, and really what we could do in the future. And it realised what we'd achieved as a team really, and with our partners, it was an interesting piece of work for us. So we had the award. We won the Queen's Award for Innovation in 2017. So in 2019, then we looked at the promoted opportunity, because we were employing a lot of young people across Southwest Wales. We went for the Promoting Opportunity Social Mobility Award in 2019. We got shortlisted, but we didn't get the award. So we thought, bloody hell, what are we going to do now? So to be fair, the feedback was fair. It was, we didn't have enough evidence on social mobility. So what we did, we came back, we looked at it as a team, and we made some small changes internally. And where we needed a bit more data collecting, and we employ 110 apprentices in the region. What came back really was we realised the deprivation within our programme. So it was a really good piece of work, and the feedback, it sharpened us up a bit really. It made us understand the business a little bit better. So winning the award really was great for the organisation, but everybody was involved in it. The only pity really, we could only take 2 to Buckingham Palace, so couldn't take the whole team. But we had a good party afterwards. But it was, but all seriousness, last year a bid came out with CIDB, some national UK money for creating an on-site hub for work experience programme. Because we'd written 2 Queen's Award bids, we had so much information there. We could use a lot of that information for our bidding and for our procurement really. So it was for our tendering process then really. So when we bid for the on-site hub, that was a 3-year programme, over £1 million. It was, we had to diversify a bit, but it was we won it. We had the award for that on-site hub. That's just started in March this year. And that'll take us to 2024. So it's really it's helped with our bottom line and our sustainability. It's diversified us. And I think the Queen's Award, not just the award itself, but the application process. It really made us. I think we understood the business better. And I think if you can understand your business inside out, I think your business you'll sustain it, and I think you'll grow it. And with the new bid we've had, it's going to give us more. It's going to give more opportunity to people in other communities and in the region. And that's what it's all about, really. And, you know, I'd like to see more companies applying from Wales. To what I'm a very proud Welshman, siarad Cymraeg, a fi'n credu mae'n bwysig that we, as companies, that we promote what's best. And I think when a little organisation from Southwest Wales, when my team can have recognition, the highest recognition, they felt so proud, I can tell you. And as Chloe said earlier, we haven't had anybody leave our team over the last couple of years, even through COVID. You know, we've retained them. And I think by having the recognition of when you share the win, it's I think it's as good as any pay rise, because the staff feel a part of the achievement, really, of the organisation. So I'd just like to finish, really, and you know, thanks, diolch am y gwahoddiad iddi, thanks for coming on, and please, I'd like to see your companies there that are listening, if we can do it with a small resource, really. But I thought it was really important for me and the business to have a good in-depth look at what we were doing, and we were doing a lot of good, and the team were doing a lot of good work. And you know, we've diversified. We've got a scheme that'll take us to 24, 25 alongside our apprenticeship program. So all I'd say to you is 7,000 winners since 1965. Let's hope that 7,000 plus next year will be more Welsh applications. You know, and I'm there. I know some of the businesses are here today. I'm sure I can. You know, I've got some applications there that you know, I'm willing to share if I can. I'll have to check, but it's really have a go, please, and we're here to help. We're here to help. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Louise.
I'm going to hand over now to Denise, who is one of our Queen's Award winners, and she's going to talk to us a bit about her experience as a winner.
Hi, thanks, Chloe. It's actually very nice to see you, because I've spoken to you on the phone and I've sent you numerous amount of emails, so it's nice to be able to put a face to it. I would reiterate some of what's already been said. You need every single bit of time that you have. It is quite a long process. You do need to take it in small bites. You need time to go away and think about it. But it does offer you time to reflect. When we entered, it was more in hope than expectation. But the process itself, I felt, would be worthwhile, irrespective of whether we got the award. The award would be nice, sort of kind of cherry on the cake, but the process itself would help us to look back. We are a project-based business, so we're doing different things year on year. We don't have the same customers. We deal in a lot of different countries. We already hold a lot of accreditations. We have to have the ISO, we have to have approvals from Russia and Canada and Brazil and all these various places to actually trade there. So I was able to do kind of a Blue Peter thing on some of these. Here's bits I did earlier. So I was able to look at material we'd already got. We involved as many people as possible. You do need a good script writer, though. I must admit, my skills are not brilliant in that respect, and I did have an absolutely superb PA who was able to go through, correct all my spelling, make the grammar right, make it read right, tell me when I've waffled too much, and involve things in there. We had, what led to those 3 years of growth, we managed to put over £1 million year on year over a 3-year period, was what happened not in those 3 years, but in the previous 5 years. So for me, the first process was looking back and remembering, oh, okay, I kind of forgot we did this and I forgot we did that. So just to prove that I am completely untech, and unlike Chloe, I'm not going to share the screen because I haven't got a clue how to do it. My slides are on paper. So the very first part of the process is navel gazing. You have to have a look at what you've done and where you've come from. Have a look back. and recognize what you've done. And I hadn't realized, because we're always problem solving the current problem, actually we're pretty good. We've done an awful lot. We couldn't get the skills we needed locally, so we started an apprenticeship, and we started training and paying for training of our own mechanical engineers, because we couldn't find people in the local area with the process. We've even done accountancy when I needed somebody to come in and boost up the finance department. Paying for somebody to come in and do a degree actually on the job has worked well for us. We got a really good person for the 4 or 5 years of the training. When we needed to look at diversifying our product, which predominantly in 2009 was oil and gas, which was far too volatile, becoming less politically acceptable, we had to start looking into other areas for the longevity. We thought about going into other areas, and the guys on the shop floor actually designed and developed a lot of the equipment that we need to do that. They built a bunker so we could do high pressure testing. They built cryo tanks and everything else. It's kind of like, it takes a village to raise a baby. Well, it takes an entire company to be successful. So going through this process allowed me to remember, although we've still got masses and masses of problems ahead, 2020 was really bad for us, and to a certain extent we've got to start climbing some of the mountains that we'd already climbed. We can do it. So it was a really useful, the process itself was really quite useful. And in the past you paid consultants to come in and do these studies for you. Well, the Queen's Award kind of helps you to do that process yourself. You become your own consultant. You see where you've been successful. You see where you've made changes. And this is another one of my wonderful slides. All the different faces of change, they're terrible. You know, nobody wants it. I had most of the guys on the shop floor, well, I'll do it because you tell me, but it'll never work. It'll never work. And it's how you overcome those changes to start making the workplace a bit more fun. We entered the Subbrook raft race. We had the most over-engineered raft on the entire race, but everybody took part in it. There's only 5 girls here and we've got 40 odd men, so we got the leftover reject raft and we actually beat them on the day because their over-engineered raft sunk pretty close to the beginning of it. But it helped build up a sense of team, and I'd forgotten all those things until I started going through this process and still I started putting it in. We had our valves in the first all-electric fire engine. That happened before this period. We'd had valves on test in Netherlands, I think it was, in a plastic recycling plant. Now that was an unsuccessful test, but still it was a lot of, we learned a lot from doing it. We're in the process of developing valves now that can be used in food. We're going through quite an onerous test process. Obviously, you don't want to poison people. And they're a bit picky about how you have to sort of ensure that that doesn't happen. And we've had a massive over $1.5 million project putting solar panels into a big field in the back of nowhere in Spain. So all these things get forgotten because you're sorting today's problem. And one of my today's problem was we've got boats stuck in the Suez Canal and we can't get through because they're letting the sheep go through before us because they've got nowhere else to put the sheep poo. And they're the things that you're sort of looking at on a daily basis, and you don't get time to reflect. I also spared no expense on my staff. I spent £2.65 and bought them all a little badge that they can all now privately wear, and it says Queen's Award winner. And I was amazed how impressed all these guys were, and they're actually wearing all their badges in work at the moment. So although we didn't get local recognition, I wanted to give them something. They've told me that I have to provide them with a barbecue as soon as we're able to in the summer. But by reintroducing our own training, our own apprenticeship, by putting people through degree courses, all this led towards our success. And until I was asked the questions in the Queen's Award, until I had to look at some of these questions and think, oh my God, yeah, we haven't done anything like that. What can we put? And it was just amazing. All of a sudden, there were lots of things that we'd done. It does take loads of time. It's not for the faint-hearted. We didn't send ours in until 10 o'clock on the day, 10 o'clock in the evening on the day it was due in. We did have slight problems because this really emphasises how few Welsh were in there. Gwent wasn't on the drop-down box to select for a county, so I think I ended up putting David in or something just so the application could go through. And I sent off frantic emails then to Chloe saying, we're not really in David, but I couldn't find the right one, and it wouldn't let me send it. So it can be a really, really good thing. You can save yourself a fortune on consultants by doing your own consultancy. I was absolutely over the moon. The very worst, most horrible part of the whole process is they tell you in March you've won and you're not allowed to tell anybody until April. And that really tested my patience, having to go around saying, ooh, smiling like crazy, really, really happy, wanting to sort of shout it from the rooftops and not being able to. So that for me was the biggest downside. So even if you don't think you're eligible, even if you don't think you're going to get it, it would still be a really worthwhile exercise for you to go through, because it is really, really thought-provoking. And we put in, and see, you're going to get really impressed with all my wonderful slides, all our mistakes. When you get things wrong, things happen, they go wrong. And it's kind of okay to ask for help. You know, you can sort of pull each other up, and it helps you remember all those things. So I would say, go for it, have a go. I'm more than happy to help people. I'm not going to be as helpful as Chloe or any of the others, but involve your staff, have a go at doing it. And the very worst thing that can happen is you don't get the award, but you get a better understanding of when you did get it right, how you got it right, and it makes you recognize your successes and not just running around doing your failures.